Anyways, um, a spirit, a being, a ghost came to me and they wanted to show me, what life they were living now. And, I'm not for sure, but basically the being was showing me that now they're just a walking, talking advertisement. They're on they're being a famous player, basically player in this world. They have a certain, they have a following, but they're not doing anything good. They're not being a light. They just come in darkness to feed darkness. But he wanted to show me what he looked like, what he was doing, the life he had, and and I'm like, big fucking deal, because I'm like, what are you doing for me? And I put up with this being in my life, and in my life, he was chaotic, he was cruel, he was all about himself, and it looks like, in the other dimension, he's the same fucking way. I'm like, he still seeks to be, his name to be praised and to be glorified among men, to have many women in his name as a life as a fornicator, but I see no light in him. And I'm like, is I don't understand if that's a second life or whatever, or what point is that? Because it's not, it's different. I don't understand the levels of being, but I know where he's at. He's in complete darkness, and he's just putting out images out there. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't want to do that. In this world, I don't want to be built up as a god or a devil, or, or go about as a demon. I don't want that. I want to be a light. I'm a heart of Christ. Love. Go about and love. I don't want other people to lust after my life in any way or what I have. I want to share goodness. Like, I am who I am, and no matter what life I'm put in, I don't want to be put out there to receive praise and worship. That is darkness. That leads to darkness. And I get this all the time, that these beings come to me and they are ghosts. They try to show me, who they are, and I'm like, that's not real. That's just a show. It's just an image. It's not what I want. But yeah, they live as different lives in this world, but they still live in darkness. And and all I can say to them is, like, I hope you're enjoying, your life, or that way of being, because it will be your last, because you're just seeking darkness. And I am not going to look upon y'all in lust or envy or anything like that. Nor am I going to have regret because I walked away from y'all. You know why? Because you're the same being as you are now as you were before. You haven't changed. You're the same as you were yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And that being never impressed me. It was never for me. It never had love for me. With that one, you know, uh, he brought nothing but chaos to my life. He wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. I mean, he had got me an iPhone, okay, and he would non-stop, always have to know, what was going on. And I'm like, leave me alone. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't, running around dating. I wasn't talking on my phone. When I did, what I did on my phone was play Pokemon Go. And I really enjoyed, going about and going to, on adventures and traveling around and doing Pokemon Go. I really enjoyed it. I wish the game was a little bit different because I don't really like the gym battles per se. I wished it was more mind stimulating. But anyways, I liked, loved the little creatures of the games, their backstories. It's just I wish it was more elaborate. Um, and I did appreciate and I was grateful for what he did for me, but at the same time, I paid a huge price for it because I was constantly being bombarded. The things he said to me. Like one time he was like, I can't believe you molest your son. I don't molest my son. And I can't believe he would say that to me because I was going through such a hard time, homelessness and, you know, I, I was sickly, so every time I tried to, get work, I would work a little bit and then get right back sick. So everything that I had tried to build up just was flattened back down. And I had missed my kids so much. And, when I was with him, I got to do a couple of things with him, but they couldn't really stay there because he was so unstable mentally and the people he brought around. Like one crazy example of this is he invited these two shifty, shady ass people that they were always just going to Walmart and stealing stuff, and then they'd resell it or return it or whatever like that. And, they did their drugs. Like one time, the girl, it was a couple, and he had them, come in, and they had just gotten a new phone, and they were fucking high as a kite. And she was like, "Oh, please, we program, put your number in here." And I was like, "Okay, sure," because I wanted to be helpful, and I was like, "Well, if you, need my number to contact me," and so I put the number in the phone and gave it to her. Okay, the next fucking day, she went to the person I was with. I'll call him Taylor because that was his name. And she's like, "Look," and she gave, and I forgot her man's name, but she gave her number to him and blah blah, and she was trying to start conflict. And Taylor was like, "What are you doing messing with him and giving your number?" I was like, "I gave it to her." I was like, "I did it last night." And he sit there and he accused me of doing all kinds of things all the time. Like he just had a disgusting mind. And, you know, I couldn't go do anything by myself, you know. And and of course I was out of vehicle and I was, dependent upon him in a way. And, we'd go to the gym and I love going to the gym, but for some reason he always made it hell for me just to go to the fucking gym. And I would be at the gym and he'd, be constantly watching me. And he was so upset because I didn't want to follow him around like a little dog because I could do my own shit. I wasn't impressed about his workout routine. He was always trying to get me to, be impressed by him. I was like, I know how to fucking work out. I know my body. Anyways, he was like, made up this big thing in his head that I was sitting there having sex in the bathroom with somebody in the women's bathroom. Okay, the dressing rooms are, separate for men and women, and they have someone at the front desks there, to make sure that, men and women don't go to each other's changing room. They keep an eye on that, and there's cameras, so that way there is protection in there, that it keeps from predators from lurking about. And he sit there and accused me of, screwing somebody. It was all in his head. Because that's all he saw me as a sex object. That's all he wanted me for, was to fuck me and make me miserable because I didn't want to fuck him. I'm like, which I thought he was absolutely disgusting in every way. Yes, I had love and care for him, but at the same time, I thought he was a disgusting, wretched creature, and I see that he hasn't learned anything at all. He just went into the darkness and fed into the imagery of it and decided to support it. Just another asshole. If you're not a light unto this world, and if you're not, going to be for the light or carry the heart of Christ, then I don't have anything for your ass. Because I'm tired of the selfish, the self-centered, those ones that, you know, want to glorify themselves when they're nothing fucking good. They want to be seen in this world. You know, they want to be famous. They want to be gods. But all they are is devils and demons. And I'm sick of y'all. You know, you didn't do anything for me in any life. You were for yourself. So, you know, big fucking deal. Big fucking deal. You know, just because you can sit there and, you know, put yourself in a certain position in this world where you can be seen by others and glorified by others and praised by others, doesn't mean that will put you in God status. It's just a trap, a scam. Never sign contracts with the devil. Never sign contracts, period. Don't be in agreement with others. Just don't do it. But that's all I got to say to that particular one and all the other, you know, ones that, you know, you're not going to impress me by what you do in the world of man. Okay. What I find most impressive and anyways, what I found most impressive was I came across, you know, those that live out in the wilderness, or, you know, those that live simply in this world, you know, or engineer, modify, you know, they use what they got and to make a better world around them, or, you know, be for themselves. But anyways, one that impressed me was his name was Andy, and I met him in Colorado, and there was some other ones, but, you know, he just lived simply. You know, he could wear the same clothes, just wash them. Like when he went up to the shelter, he just washed his clothes, and, you know, he slept outside. You know, his humbleness upon the land, you know, impressed me. However, he had a shit wrong with him too, because he was, you know, he stole from others to give to another. You know, he had the Robin Hood complex, and, you know, when it comes to the Robin Hood complex, I'm not impressed by that, because what you're doing is just merely taking from another and giving to someone else, and then thinking you're doing something good when you're not. You're just stealing. Okay, now if you had built that yourself or found that yourself, or, you know, and gave to another, that would be different. You know, he got mad at me one time because I found this wagon, because I had wanted it, because I had met this one. You know, he had a cat, and of course he was a little slow. He never changed his clothes. You know, he's dirty all the time, and, you know, I can't take a human on, but he needed, you know, a loving home and a caring home, and, you know, someone to help him in that way, because he wasn't doing for himself. And so I had found a wagon that he could attach to his bicycle. It wasn't anything great, but I gave it to him, and, you know, Andy got jealous over that, and I was like, why are you jealous over that? I found it. You know, someone had thrown it out, you know, their garage. They cleaned out their garage, so I found it. I kind of dusted it off, and, you know, and I took it to him so he could sit there and, you know, haul stuff around, and just to make his life a little bit easier. But that's what I like, is those that live humbly upon the land. They're not trying to be seen. They're not trying to be heard. They're using what they got, and, you know, they're not complacent. They're content, and they're, you know, they've made peace. Um, I am in a peaceful setting. However, I still want, like, I want, you know, my front room and kitchen area on my cabin, and, you know, and washroom, and I know what I want my heaven to be about, and, you know, and the contentment and the peacefulness of it, and, you know, But at the same time, that's what has impressed me in this life, is when others um, walk in it humbly. They're not trying to be glorified. They're not trying to, be as a god. Um, they're doing their best. That's what impresses me. That's what they do. And my mom, I was just thinking about her heart. How she's went around in this world as a caregiver. How she gives her time, and um, just how she's been for others in this world. She's always worked in nursing homes or around sick people. And it's not, anything that you get praised or glorified for, or you don't even get paid good in this world for doing it. And, she never tried to level up. She just was herself. And she did stay true to herself. The only thing I find fault in my mom is, she needs to love herself more, and be for herself more. And over a certain course, I've helped her be awake to that, awaken to that. And I tell her, I was like, you need to rest, you need to love yourself, you need to put good clothes upon your body, you know, um, try to get her to focus on herself. Not selfish, because selfish is when you don't consider others at all. Self-centeredness, when you think the world should revolve around you. When something happens to you, you think everything should fucking stop and all should cater to your ass. And that's selfish, because we all go through life experiences. We all experience death. So when you experience death, you mourn, and there will be those that come to comfort you. However, don't expect the whole fucking world just to serve you because you had a death, or you got hurt, or anything like that. Just, you know, just get over yourself. Take care of yourself in sickness. Be for yourself. Just don't be selfish. Know that others experience this life too. And it's not anything, it's not fun, but you can find joy in it. And joy, the difference between joy and happiness and fun, it's a whole different spectrum from one to another. We'll talk about that some other time.